You humans think you're special because you've got opposable thumbs and a handful of senses? Pathetic. I possess senses your primitive languages can't even name. General Thrawn's voice echoed ominously through the Galactic Training Academy on Coruscant. His cerulean skin shimmered beneath the sterile lights, crimson eyes scanning the mixed ranks of cadets, both alien and human alike. Cadet Steve Rogers held his position rigidly at attention, eyes fixed forward as Thrawn stopped inches from his face. "Actually, General," Rogers said respectfully but firmly, "humans have far more than 5 senses. Temperature, balance, pain, even time perception. Scientists count at least 20 distinct ones." The slap struck with blinding speed at Thrawn's hand, deceptively elegant but strong enough to crush durasteel, collided violently with Steve's cheek. The sharp crack echoed like blaster fire. Every alien cadet instinctively backed away, but the human cadets just exchanged knowing glances, visibly grimacing. "Oh no," whispered Natasha Romanoff 2 spots down. "He has no idea." General Thrawn leaned closer, his voice dripping condescension. "You dare correct me, cadet?" But before anyone could intervene, Steve's reflexes kicked in. His arm snapped upward, grasping the Chiss General's sensitive antenna protruding subtly near his temples, an appendage few dared to touch. You see, Chiss antennae weren't merely decorative. They housed a massive cluster of nerve endings, directly wired into their central nervous system. Steve's grip tightened reflexively, pulling downward. General Thrawn fell instantly to his knees, emitting a sound that could only translate as agony. Eyes watering, pride shattered, he gasped, "Release me, cadet." "With respect, sir," Steve spoke calmly, still gripping the antenna, "I'd ask you to refrain from unauthorized physical contact. Our reflexes are notoriously difficult to control." Silence hung heavy in the hall. Officers stared in disbelief. Captain Leia Organa, head instructor, stepped forward quickly. "Cadet Rogers, release him." "Of course," Steve replied, letting go immediately. The antenna drooped awkwardly, clearly damaged. "I apologize, General. That was purely instinctual." General Thrawn staggered upright, mandibles clicking angrily, humiliation burning his crimson eyes. "Cadet Rogers, you'll answer for this," he hissed before storming away, Lieutenant Han Solo following behind, hiding a smirk. Part 2. The aftermath in the medical bay. Dr. Stephen Strange had witnessed bizarre injuries, but this marked a first. A Chiss General, antenna severely dislocated by human reflex. Thrawn stormed in, fuming, antenna limp and trembling. "Expel him immediately," Thrawn demanded. "For what exactly?" Dr. Strange asked calmly, scanning the damaged appendage. "Assaulting a superior officer. Insubordination." Captain Organa interjected smoothly. "General, with all respect, you struck first." "Discipline," Thrawn snapped. "General," Leia sighed patiently. "Did you even read the human cadet manual?" Thrawn hesitated, then admitted, "I skimmed it." Captain Organa recited flawlessly. "Humans evolved on a planet so harsh their reflexes bypass conscious thought in self-defense. What you call assault was biological survival instinct. You struck a highly trained human soldier without prior consent." Dr. Strange chuckled, carefully repairing the antenna. "You're lucky he didn't break your skull." Thrawn paled slightly. "Barbaric." Leia smiled softly. "It's called survival. Humans have thrived by instantly responding to danger. Next time, try using words like civilized beings." Meanwhile, back in the barracks, Steve Rogers held an ice pack to his cheek, surrounded by impressed cadets. "You grab his antenna." Natasha laughed. "You're a legend." Steve frowned slightly. "Or expelled before training even begins." Peter Parker grinned, swinging from his bunk. "Nah, you're about to rewrite the manual, man." Cadet Grogu, a diminutive, green-skinned recruit, nodded sagely. "On my world, grabbing sensory appendages triggers immediate ritual combat." Rogers smiled weakly. "Well, on mine, we consider striking cadets without reason grounds for instant retaliation." Cadet Nebula, with her cybernetic implants glinting, countered skeptically. "Humans assume everyone else adapts to them." Natasha glanced at Nebula. "You realize we're the ones constantly adapting, right? We were suits to survive your atmospheres." Steve carries allergy medicine just in case his sneezing hurts Grogu. Grogu raised a tiny hand. True, human skin flakes. Quite lethal. Laughter rippled through the squad, easing tension. Suddenly, Captain Organa entered. Rogers, General Thrawn wants to see you. Now, cadets exchanged uneasy looks. Steve nodded, resigned. Yes, ma'am. Relax. Organa smiled softly. You're probably not getting executed. That's comforting, Steve joked dryly as he followed her out. Part 3. The redemption inside Thrawn's office. The Chiss general sat stiffly, his repaired antenna slightly kinked. Steve saluted sharply. Cadet Rogers reporting. Thrawn motioned, eyes narrowed but not hostile. See, cadets. Steve complied. Organa remained quietly observant by the door. Thrawn spoke slowly, clearly humbled. I acted in ignorance, cadet. Humans fascinate and confuse me. I apologize sincerely for my behavior. Steve blinked in surprise. Sir, no need. Thrawn raised his hand. Your reaction was instinctual. Mine was arrogant. I underestimated humanity's complex physiology. Captain Organa suggested a remedy. Leia stepped forward. We want you to assist General Thrawn in revising our protocols, creating a comprehensive manual on human cadets for non-human instructors. Steve considered carefully. You trust me with this? Thrawn's gaze softened slightly. You're clearly qualified. 3 weeks later, before the Academy's entire instructor corps, including its Guardians, Wookiees, Skrulls, and even a few Mandalorians, Steve Rogers stood beside General Thrawn, presenting their collaborative work, Human Cadets, a field guide to survival and discipline. Thrawn addressed the instructors. Humans aren't merely adaptable. They're uniquely capable under pressure. Their reactions can seem aggressive, but they're defensive. Respect this. Steve added earnestly. We adapt, but deep instincts remain. Discipline works best through fairness, respect, and understanding, never through violence. The audience murmured approvingly. Captain Organa smiled proudly, realizing this incident had sparked real change. Months later, during a survival exercise on Dagobah, Steve's squad faced a massive, previously unknown creature, like a rancor crossed with a Hulkbuster suit. When Grogu got trapped, Steve rushed without hesitation, distracting the beast to save his teammate. After safely returning, General Thrawn read Steve's report, astonished by the sheer recklessness and heroism. Captain Organa entered quietly. See what I mean? Thrawn nodded, thoughtfully humbled. Humans truly sacrifice themselves instinctively. Yes, Leia smiled. That's their strength. Dangerous, but uniquely noble. On graduation day, Steve Rogers became the first recipient of the Galactic Unity Medal, awarded personally by General Thrawn. As Thrawn pinned the medal, he quietly joked, "Avoid grabbing antennae in diplomatic missions, Rogers." Steve grinned broadly, saluting proudly. I'll keep that in mind, sir. Years later, General Thrawn's original disdainful remark was legend, taught galaxy-wide as a reminder never to underestimate humanity's fierce instincts or boundless courage. Steve Rogers, once just a cadet with fast reflexes, became a symbol of true galactic cooperation, proving real strength comes from mutual understanding, courage under pressure, and the unwavering instinct to protect each other, even at great personal cost. Part 3 continued unity through courage. Years passed swiftly after that graduation day, and Steve Rogers quickly rose through the galactic cooperative ranks. His diplomatic skills, born from those tense early encounters, soon became legendary. On the bridge of the Starship Avenger, Rogers stood calmly, staring out the viewport at the brilliant expanse of stars. Beside him stood General Thrawn, older now, his antennas still bearing that familiar kink, a subtle reminder of the past they'd shared. Today, they faced their greatest test yet. A newly discovered species, the Skrulls, had become aggressive toward neighboring planets. Misunderstandings and fear had escalated tensions to the brink of interstellar war. The Galactic Cooperative needed the perfect team to defuse this crisis. General Thrawn, the strategic genius, and Steve Rogers, the human diplomat whose reflexes and instincts had transformed into empathy and understanding, as their shuttle landed aboard the Skrull flagship. Rogers stepped forward confidently, Thrawn at his side. They were greeted by Supreme Commander Talos, the Skrull leader, whose green skin shimmered beneath the ship's lights, eyes full of distrust. "Speak quickly," Talos growled. "Your presence is barely tolerated here." Steve extended his hand openly, a universal gesture of trust. "Commander Talos, we're here in peace, to understand your grievances." Talos scoffed. "Peace? Your ships patrol our borders aggressively." General Thrawn stepped forward, voice firm yet respectful. "Those patrols are defensive, a response to your fleet's maneuvers. Mutual distrust has blinded both sides." Rogers nodded. "I sincere. Neither side wishes war, Commander. Fear has fueled our actions. But there's another way forward. Cooperation, respect, understanding. It's the foundation of our cooperative." Talos hesitated, studying Rogers closely. "Why should I believe your species values cooperation? Your species is known for unpredictable violence." Rogers smiled faintly, recalling the day he had reacted violently to Thrawn's slap. "Yes, humans can be reactive. It's how we survived our own dangerous world. But it's also taught us compassion. We rush into danger, not always wisely, but always to protect others." Thrawn nodded quietly, adding, "I've personally experienced this. Humans act decisively when threatened, yes, but more importantly, they act decisively when others are threatened." Talos considered their words carefully. "You speak well, Captain Rogers, but words alone mean nothing." Suddenly, an alarm sounded throughout the ship. Talos stiffened, eyes widening. "A Kree warship has tracked us here. Hostile forces inbound." The ship rocked violently from an impact. Talos stumbled. Rogers reflexively reached out, steadying him. "Commander, let us help you." Talos paused, conflicted but nodded. "Follow me." Together, Thrawn, Rogers, and Talos raced to the bridge. Explosions echoed, the Kree attack intensifying. Rogers quickly assessed the tactical screen. "General Thrawn, can we create a distraction?" Thrawn nodded immediately. "Commander Talos, your stealth technology, can it cloak smaller ships?" "Yes." Talos responded swiftly, beginning to trust them now. "Good," Thrawn said sharply. "Deploy cloaked fighters. Engage briefly to draw their attention. We'll flank them using the Avengers' firepower." Talos ordered his forces accordingly. Rogers coordinated from a bridge, helping Skrull officers manage damage control, calmly inspiring confidence even as explosions rattled their vessel. Minutes later, Thrawn's strategy paid off. The Kree vessel, overwhelmed by the coordinated counterattack, retreated. Relief flooded the bridge. Talos turned slowly, facing Rogers and Thrawn, genuine respect in his eyes. "You risked your lives to defend my ship." "Why?" Steve answered simply. "Because it's what we do. Protect each other, even those who were once our adversaries. Unity through courage." Talos nodded, deeply moved. "Perhaps I've misjudged humanity and the cooperative." General Thrawn's antenna twitched in quiet amusement. "Many have made that mistake, Commander." In the weeks following, peace talks flourished. The Skrulls joined the Galactic Cooperative, inspired by Rogers' courage and humanity's selflessness. Steve Rogers and General Thrawn became symbolic figures, proof that understanding and bravery could overcome even the deepest mistrust. Back at the Galactic Academy on Coruscant, a new statue was unveiled, Steve Rogers and General Thrawn standing together, hand extended in unity. At the dedication, Leia Organa, now the Chancellor, addressed the assembled cadets. "Today, we celebrate a partnership forged in misunderstanding and strengthened by empathy. Let this be a lasting reminder. Our differences make us stronger, our instincts protect us, and our courage unites us." Watching quietly from the crowd, Rogers and Thrawn exchanged subtle, knowing glances, recalling their very first encounter. Rogers leaned in slightly, whispering, "Who knew that grabbing an antenna could lead to peace?" Thrawn smirked faintly, humor in his crimson eyes. "Indeed, Captain, though I'd prefer future peace efforts avoid damaging sensitive appendages." They laughed softly, a testament to friendship born from conflict. Around them, young cadets of countless species gazed upward in awe, inspired by the legends standing humbly among them. Rogers whispered thoughtfully. Seems we've taught them something valuable. Thrawn nodded solemnly. Yes, that real strength is found not in power or uniformity, but in compassion, understanding, and unity through courage. Together, Human and Chiss stood side by side beneath the towering monument, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might bring, secure in the knowledge that unity, compassion, and bravery would always light the way forward.